Okay, so here we're going to have a look at how we make a quick music loop. Now I've cut down this short section of audio so that it loops perfectly. So I've cut it down so the beginning and the end match up. And we're going to look at how we wrap that up into its own clip and then create some transitions. So we kind of create a smooth transition between the kind of looping audio. So first of all, I'm going to copy this and then I'm going to paste it onto the timeline a few times. Okay. And once we've done that, we've basically got our short looping track. Okay, and and you can test this. So the thing to do now would be to listen back to it, make sure it loops properly. So basically, we're looping the track. There's no gaps in between these, and then we're going to wrap this up into a new compound clip. Okay, so file new compound clip, and that's going to make it its own clip that we can lengthen, shorten, and kind of play around with. So at the moment we have a compound clip that loops, and we can shorten it and adjust the levels, so we can do dipping and stuff if we have any interviews, and then we can kind of lengthen it within the compound clip as well. That's what we're going to have a look at how we do that now. So if I double click into here, I'm going to come into my compound clip. You can see that up here, and what I want to do is lengthen first of all the audio track and then add some transition. So at the moment the looping audio is only 14 seconds, so we might need to extend that at some point. So I'm going to grab all those clips, copy that, so Command C or Edit Copy, and then paste those in. Okay, and basically now this area is grayed out because it's not live on the timeline. So if I go back to the timeline, I've got some extra distance that I can spread that clip out, and eventually if we keep going, we'll hit the red media limit on the right hand side there. So I've got 52 seconds, so almost a minute of looping audio. So what we need to do now is add some transition so there's not a big jump between those audio tracks. Now if I select all these clips, I can use the default transition, which is a cross dissolve, which will do a nice dissolve on this audio. Now the problem with this is, and I use Command T as a shortcut for that, is that the dissolves are always a bit too long. So at the moment we're going to get a bit of distortion as that transitions from one audio track to another, because if we highlight one of these and do Control D to see the duration, you can see that they're 1 second long, and really we want them just to be a few frames, so 5 to 10 frames long. So it's a short transition and will just work nicely for the audio. So the trick is, how can we select all of these transitions without actually having to go along, hold down Command and click on all of these transitions. So if I select my transitions, I can do Control D and then type in 6, and it will do a 6-frame transition, so it's going to shorten that transition. But what I can do, if I can use this show or hide timeline index down here at the bottom left, okay, and basically now I can search for cross dissolves. Okay, so you can see if I type in cross in the search here, I can search for all those cross dissolves in this looping audio, and I can now click on the top one, hold down Shift and click on the bottom one, and it's now selected all those. So if I do Control and D now, come back to the timeline, do Control and D now, when I do 6 frames, so just type in 6 up in the middle here and hit enter, it's going to change the duration of all of those. So I've basically been able to use the search to find all those cross dissolves in the timeline, which is quite a neat trick. So that's how to set up a looping audio. Obviously you need to trim down the track yourself, but essentially the trick here is how to shorten the duration of the cross dissolve, and then also how to extend out the looping audio at the end. So we could grab these clips again and paste them onto the end if we wanted to extend that out. And now in the timeline we could just drag this back and drag it out.